Hey Thentopians, Micah here. I want to welcome the new subscribers from the. I was a participant in Greg Seekster's, Kickstarting 2011 collaboration this last week. I'll post a link to the description of that. 12 weeks, I'm going to be giving weekly challenges, so that's the general thing. And to participate in the challenge and to be eligible for the end giveaway, you need to. The more you comment, the more you participate, the better chance you have of winning a prize, because each way you participate counts as an entry to a drawing at the end of each month, and a big drawing at the end of the 3 months. So I decided to splurge and I ordered 24 shirts. Now there's only 7 weeks left in the competition, and 24 shirts. I announced in the competition on Thentopia.com, I suggested the idea of having a weekly giveaway. So people are like, sure, of course, free stuff. We're not going to be opposed to having. So here's the deal. I'm giving out weekly challenges, and I'm getting some participation, especially like Lizard26. I'm going to give her another shout out. She's one of my most faithful challenge takers. This last week's challenge was to work on a non-fitness related goal, and hers, for example, was to work on something spiritual. Mine was to work on more personal development, which is these. I've mentioned it before, but 48 days to the work you love. I've been working really hard on that. I'm really trying to figure out what it is that I want to be. This week's challenge is going to require a video reply. And you're going to do your video reply to this video. And you have until Saturday, by the end of the day, to do your video reply. And it's going to be pretty easy. But what I want you to cook a meal that you've never cooked before. And you're going to, you don't have to show a video of your whole self cooking it, but maybe the final product, share what you just cooked, and talk about what's in it. And, you know, and let us know how it tastes as well. And then maybe even share the recipe in your video description, and then do that, make that a video reply to now. This just can't be any recipe. I have here a list of foods that I am going to post a link to, and this is called Michi's ladder, which I'm going to work on creating a better representation of what this is, but it tiers foods into 5 levels. And levels 1 and 2 are basically foods that you can eat. If you ate just from foods in that group, you'd be perfect. You'd be a clean eater, I guess you'd say. But when I was looking at tier 1, there are a lot of foods that I have never eaten, or that I just don't, it's not in my regular diet. For example, let's see here. Brussels sprouts. I really don't eat Brussels sprouts, and you always hear bad things about it, but sometimes I've heard some good things about Brussels sprouts. But I've never really tried it. Let's see. Muesli, collard greens, chard, seitan. I don't even know how to pronounce some of these things, so I probably am not even pronouncing them wrong. Tofu, tempeh, artichokes, arugula. I'm naming all the ones that are unfamiliar to me. Of course, there are things like apples, avocados, beans, broccoli, carrots, cauliflower, cereal, whole grain cereal, citrus fruits, cottage cheese, non-fat, cucumbers, egg whites, garlic, lettuce, romaine, green or red leaf, milk, non-fat, squash, spinach, strawberries, sweet potatoes, refried beans, non-fat, brown rice, salsa with no sugar, peppers, peas, pears, onions, olive oil, oatmeal, mustard, water, yams, yogurt, non-fat and no sugar, which, not a fan of that, and tomatoes. So your goal this week is to pick something from this list, and I'll post a link to it in the description, and find a recipe. So, for example, if you're going to choose collard greens, do a Google search for collard greens recipe. And I'm not going to say, you can add butter and you can add all kinds of bad things to your recipe to make it actually taste good, but then it actually becomes a non-tier 1 food. So I would try to avoid, it says olive oil is okay, so stick with olive oil. Beans, you can actually mix a lot of these foods in there. Non-fat milk, vinegar, water, sweet potatoes, all these types of things to kind of come up with a recipe. Either come up with a recipe, that'd be awesome, and share it, or find a recipe online and make something that you've never had before, and see if you can incorporate new foods that are healthy. We'll give a t-shirt away to the best video reply, okay? And to qualify, not only do you have to do a video reply, but you need a thumbs up and leave a comment that you thumbsed up. And that's going to be this week's challenge. So I hope we at least get a few participants, and we will give a t-shirt away. And I'll be sharing what those t-shirts look like in a video later. I just got done making a page on my website to show the top 2 tiers of foods. And I came to realize something, that most foods, well, not most, a lot of foods can be replaced with something healthier. For example, if we drink regularly 2% milk, we can try and drink skim milk or 1% milk, and then it moves us up the tier. Or if we eat a lot of beef, we can try to eat more chicken. And if we can really try, we can try to eat more fish. And fish is better than vegetable oil with olive oil. Just improve our cereals. One thing I saw online was a site that talked about how to choose the right cereal. And their technique was to choose a cereal that has more fiber than sugar. And there are not a whole lot of cereals that do that, but usually they're the all brands and the things that provide a lot of fiber and don't have a lot of breads are another thing. To switch from white bread to wheat bread, but even better than wheat bread, go to whole grain bread and try to get whole grain bread. Simple thing is, rather than iceberg lettuce, do a green lettuce or spinach. Instead of doing like a baked potato, do a baked sweet potato. Sweet potatoes are healthier than regular potatoes. We like to do potato fry, like, I don't know what we call them, but my wife just dices up sweet potatoes, and she puts some olive oil in a pan. No, she puts olive oil in a bag, and she puts the diced up sweet potatoes in the bag with some pepper and salt maybe. Although, thing is about salt is you try not to put too much on there, and I mean, getting too much sodium can be a bad thing, but I'm under the impression that, some seasoning can't kill you. So just do it to season, not to just that we're eating lots of salt. Then she puts that in a bag and she shakes it all up so it's kind of coated, and then she puts that out on a pan and she bakes it, and oh, it's so delicious. I need to have her. She has all these great recipes, and I know, for example, the taco soup recipe that I've posted, or that I posted in one of my vlogs, a lot of people want the recipe, so I'm going to try and get her to do some cooking episode. One is to go for brown rice over white rice. And another thing is you can get wheat flour, and it's a little bit better than white flour. Another big one is bacon. Regular pig bacon, pork bacon, can be pretty fattening and greasy. Turkey bacon is nice and lean, and you don't get all that grease. If you're trying to make something sweet, instead of using refined sugar, try to adapt the recipe with honey. Or there's some other healthier sweeteners out there, a sucanat. There's a few out there. I probably could do a whole video about, sugar, refined sugar replacement. Another one is ice cream. You can go for non-fat ice cream or frozen yogurt over just regular ice cream, or you can go for sherbet, and it's a little bit better than ice cream. Obviously, even if you're going for sherbet or non-fat frozen yogurt, it's still going to be something you do as a treat. But if you're doing that over ice cream, it's just going to be not as bad. I've gone on enough about food replacements and trying to improve the quality of our food. So, just a reminder of what the challenge is this week. Write it down and think about maybe right now what you want to do for your meal, or start researching it online. But go to the site. The link's in. I'll maybe even put a link right here in the annotation. So look right here. I'll put the annotation right here. There is the list of foods, and find a food that maybe you don't ordinarily eat, and try and find a recipe and use that recipe, and and maybe even throughout the week try to do some of these replacements that I mentioned. Try to use more olive oil or green vegetables, or whole wheat or whole grain, rather than using the refined white. Show a video of yourself cooking that food or preparing that food, or just show us a video of the prepared food and let us know how it tastes, and share the recipe in the description, and then make that a video reply to this video. You have until the end of the day, Saturday. Next Sunday, I will go check out all the video replies. I'll probably be checking them out throughout the week and leaving comments on them, and I'll be definitely favoriting your videos if you do a video reply to me, and I'll definitely give them a thumbs up. Thumbs up this video, leave a comment, let me know if you what you're doing. If you don't have a camera or you don't post videos to YouTube, you can still participate by leaving a comment, but the chances are that I'm going to pick somebody who does a video. Your prize will be one of these new t-shirts that will be printed. Good luck this week. Have fun. Be creative, go out and try something new. This is the whole thing. We're trying to relearn how to eat, find the foods that are going to be most nutritious for us, and learn how to find foods that are good that we like. And be kind of open-minded. I want you to be open-minded this week and try something you maybe not ordinarily would have tried. And to be honest, I am going to try a nice Brussels sprouts recipe because I've always heard some negative things, but I also have heard some positive things, so I'm going to give it a try.